Hi again and welcome to the Laughter Crafter channel. It's really good to be with you again. I hope you had fun trying out those boho bangles last week. A few people have made them and said that they were good fun, so that's really good. Well, today I have got a headband that's made with a silk scarf. This silk scarf, oopsie, I've just got a knot in it. This silk scarf I bought back in January when I was in Sri Lanka. It's blue and white, which goes with my zoo volunteer uniform. I'm a docent at the Perth Zoo. I think I've mentioned it before. And I'm going to go there today and do my volunteering. And I've been doing that for 11 years. And we're allowed to wear white and blue things with our uniforms. So when I made this, I thought, that's what I'll do. I'll wear it on Saturday when I go to the zoo. So I've made it out of silk, as I said, and silk frays really easily. But you know what? I could have hemmed it and stopped that problem, but I actually want it to be a bit ratty and sort of shabby chic. So I'm okay with that. You might not be, but that's okay. So I'm going to try it on. Let's have a look. Okay. All right. So I'll turn around. Excuse my back. It's a bit awkward to do this, but anyway, you get the idea. I'm just going to tie these together and hopefully that looks okay. What do you think? All right, here is the limerick that goes with today's craft. A headband to sit on your head does not need to fill you with dread. A silk scarf that frayed is what makes up the braid. It's as simple as gluing, she said. There you go. So I've got my joke for you too. So a man went to a fortune teller and she looked into her crystal ball and then she started laughing. She started giggling and going and before long she was just hysterically laughing. And the man was wondering what was happening, and in the end he reached across the table and slapped her across the face. Wow. And she said, "What did you do that for?" And he said, "Well, I always wanted to strike a happy medium." There we go. Okay, so that's it for today. We're ready to get started to make this silk scarf headband. You don't have to have a silk scarf. You can have any kind of scarf. It can be thicker. If it's a more robust fabric, you'll be able to make a wider braid and put it on a wider headband. Or you might just have fabric to use. Whatever. Grab what you've got. Watch the video first and know what you're doing, and then have a go at it. And I'll be with you in a minute. See you soon. So here I have the things I think I'm going to need to make this braided scarf headband. Start with the plastic headband first. You can get these in different widths, but I would like this nice wider one. And you can usually buy them in packets of 3 at one of the cheap shops. I've got this scarf, and it's a lovely silk scarf actually, and I bought this on holiday in Sri Lanka back in January. And this is going to be perfect because it's long and narrow. When I say narrow, it's actually about 45 centimeters wide. Yes, I'm measuring it now. 45 centimeters wide, which is around about 18 inches wide, and quite long. I might not use all of this length, but we'll see. So I'm going to use that and cut it up and braid it. I may need a peg. Of course, to cut my scarf, I need my fabric scissors, and I have a glue gun with glue sticks. So why don't we make a start? So I've cut this scarf into 3 equal strips lengthwise, 1, 2, 3, and I then measured the distance from one end of this headband to the other, and it was 38 centimeters. So what I did is I grabbed a few extra pegs and I found the center, which was there. Then I halved that 38 to give me 19 centimeters from the peg to here, and the same here, another 19 centimeters to here, and that's where I put the 2 pegs. So the distance between these 2 pegs is 38 centimeters, and that 38 centimeters is in the center, hopefully, if I've done my measurements correctly, in the center of this strip of scarf. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2 strips, put pegs here and here, and then that will tell me where I need to begin my braid and finish my braid. So that's what I'll go ahead and do now. So here are the 3 strips, 1, 2, 3, and I've got them all at that same mark, which should equate with the beginning of one end of this headband. So I'm going to take these pegs off and just use one and hold all 3 together like that, and then I'm going to start braiding. Just leave these other pegs that are 38 centimeters lower down on the scarf, let them just sit there, and when we get to those pegs, that will tell us that we can stop braiding. So you might remember the braiding from when we did the raffia plate. We braided the raffia. So that's what we're going to do here. these three strips of scarf, being the left side, the right side, and the middle strip, well, the left and the right had this lovely royal blue pattern all the way down the edge, and so did the right side, but of course the middle was the middle, and so it doesn't have that. So I put that in the middle, and it doesn't matter, we're just going to start to braid. So there'll be bits of that royal blue showing, there'll be other bits with the lots of white showing and the blue squiggles, and the pattern that you can see is bunches of elephants. Well, I suppose you'd say herds of elephants. Not really a bunch. They're not like bananas, are they? Elephants, because, you know, not yellow, that's one thing. They're probably different to bananas in other ways as well. And I'm just waffling on now. So you can see that I've started the braid, and I'm quite happy with that. Nice loose braid, don't pull it too tight. You want it to be wide enough to sit nicely on the headband. So I think I have done enough. I originally measured the pegs to be 38 centimeters from each other, because that was the length from tip to tip of the headband. But because the scarf obviously pulls in when you plait it, this has ended up being longer. In fact, this has ended up being, I'll measure it to tell you, yes, 40 centimeters, so just a tiny bit longer. So let's just check it before we glue it on. So going from there, that end, wind it around, down to the bottom, that's fairly perfect. Now, I think I'm going to make one change, and that is, I think I'm going to swap over and use my more narrow headband. I do have a more narrow headband because this plait is quite narrow, and the reason is I'm using silk. This is a silk scarf, and silk, there's almost nothing to it. It's just, look, it's just nothing, even though you've got 3 strands. If you were doing a scarf that was lovely thick cotton or something, it's going to be a wider brand, and that would, braid, not brand. You get a wider braid with a thicker fabric, but with silk it's quite a narrow braid. So I think I'm going to stop here, go and grab that narrow headband, and we'll keep going from there. So here we go, that's the narrow headband that I have, probably only half the width of this wide one, and I think this braid will sit beautifully on that. So now I'm going to take, I might just measure it just in case this is a shorter headband. I might just measure it. No, it's pretty much the same length from tip to tip, so we're going to go with this length of braid. I'm going to take my glue gun and just apply a little bit at a time of the braid. Again, ooh, oozed over a bit, so be careful not to burn yourself. I think I have asbestos fingers. I do so much of this sort of thing, I don't really feel it, but you might, so be careful, especially if children are working with a hot glue gun. You might want to do that part for them. So what I'm going to do is hold that back out of the way. I did just put the glue on the top edge, but I think it oozed over the edge, so that's why it sort of grabbed me. There we go. So we're just aiming for gluing this down. Oopsie daisy. Good thing about this is if it kind of gets on you, it rubs right off again. So pull that back to there, and I'll continue doing this and come back to you in a minute. So here's the headband with that braid glued down to it. I've kept these pegs on here because I'm going to put a knot just here. So I'll need, because there's 3 strands, I'll need to have two pieces of scarf knotted onto one piece. So let me just do that and make a knot right at the base of that headband there, and another one, and that will kind of finish that off like that, and they will just hang down. Might put a little dab of glue under there to make that stick down, but that's okay, I'm happy with that. Take this peg off and do the same. Right at the base of that headband on this side as well. And got lots of little threads of silk hanging out, but as I said, I'm okay with that. If that would bother you, then you can put little hems all the way down the edges of, all the raw edges of this scarf where it was cut, if you want to. But I think you'll find when you put this on and you tie this around your ponytail and let these hang down, or however you want to wear it, for me, I don't think these little hairy bits are going to bother me, but it's a personal thing. But that's basically it. That was really quick and really easy. There you go. So that's it really for me this week. I hope that you'll have fun this week doing lots of crafting and of course lots of laughing as well. And I'll see you again next time. Bye.